Hello and welcome to Catalyze Music Academy. My name is Zaak Kerstetter. I'm an Ableton Certified Trainer. And for today's video, I want to do a bit more of a review/opinion kind of video as opposed to a lot of the tutorials I have been doing on this channel. And specifically, I want to be talking about shimmer reverbs, which is one of my favorite ways to do reverbs. And if you don't know or you haven't used a shimmer reverb, it's basically a reverb with some kind of pitch changing processing. So it's going to be changing pitch over time as it's echoing through an imaginary space. And in the past, my go-to for doing a shimmer reverb has always been the plugin by Valhalla DSP called Shimmer. This is a fantastic plugin. It's beautiful. It's really well designed. It sounds amazing. I've been using it all the time, probably my all-time favorite plugin. However, recently with the release of Lab 11, the hybrid reverb has been added, which includes a shimmer reverb itself. So I want to talk a little bit about the differences between these two and kind of my thoughts and comparing the two and having using them over the last couple months. So first off, let's take a look. We just got just a straight up grand piano going on. So if we turn on our shimmer reverb, I haven't tweaked the settings a whole lot, but this is what it sounds like. So as you can hear, it's great for those kind of spacey, abstract, atmospheric, very ethereal kind of sounds, which I absolutely love. So far I haven't really tweaked much of these settings. We got a dry wet control here. It's about 50%. The shift control is going to allow us to pitch our sound up and down in semitone. We got a feedback control. It's basically going to be kind of like the decay time. The diffusion, which if we set this around here, sounds really cool because we get these nice reverse sounding reverbs, which are amazing. The size of our imaginary space, we got a low cut, a high cut, and a built-in kind of chorusing. And then we have a few options for like mono versus stereo modes, single, dual, and reverse modes, and a color mode, bright versus dark. I put this on dark because it sounds a little bit more similar to the hybrid reverb, but I haven't really tweaked a lot of settings here. There honestly isn't much to tweak to begin with. It really sounds good almost no matter where you set these settings. So let's compare this to the hybrid reverb. So the hybrid reverb includes two different reverbs. It includes a convolution reverb and an algorithmic reverb. I have turned off the convolution side of things by going in here and switching just to the algorithm, and we have picked the shimmer mode out of our 5 different algorithms. These are all really cool. I did a video on this earlier in the channel if you want to go check that out. So here we're going to see a lot of the same settings, things like decay instead of feedback, although we do have things like size, pitch, diffusion. Those are all basically the exact same thing as we see over here in Shimmer. So I've tweaked these settings so it's about as close as I could get it, which sounds like that in the hybrid reverb versus this in the Valhalla reverb. But overall, I think it sounds pretty good. I could totally just play this and love it. I think it sounds really great. However, if we are going to be kind of comparing and A/Bing the two of these together, I do feel like the Valhalla reverb, it evolves over time a bit more. So it changes and it sounds a little bit more organic. And if we take a listen to it, we get the initial reverb, which doesn't have a lot of the shimmery effect, and then the shimmer kind of moves in over time. Whereas the actual hybrid reverb, it kind of just starts with the shimmer already on there and doesn't really evolve and change as much over time. So I think both are good. I think you could totally get away with using either one. I do think the Valhalla reverb has a bit more of a textured, natural feel to it, which I really like. And the hybrid reverb is a bit more kind of static. It just kind of like stays the same in terms of the way it sounds over time. There are some settings in here that we don't get in Valhalla reverb, things like the shimmer control. This is basically going to control kind of the maximum pitch we're going to get out of this. So if I turn this up, we get a much higher sound, which can be kind of cool. And then we also have a damping control, which as we turn this up, it's going to mute it a little bit more. So we don't get either of those controls on the Valhalla reverb, and those are just both worth looking into. On top of that, if we are going to be kind of comparing the two as a whole together, hybrid reverb does a lot more. It has a lot more settings in here. We're only using one of the 5 algorithms, and we're not using any of the convolution settings or even combining the convolution and algorithmic together, which is really what it's kind of designed to do. So if you are looking to get a wide variety of sounds, a lot of diversity of sound, I think hybrid reverb is a great go-to reverb. I think it sounds awesome and gives you a lot of options. Whereas the Valhalla Shimmer, it does one thing really well. So if you really like this sound, if you really like that kind of spacey atmospheric kind of sound that this can make, 100% recommend getting this. I would even recommend getting this anyway because it's such a cool plugin and it's only like 50 bucks. But it basically does this one thing really well. Whereas the hybrid reverb can do that one thing not quite as well, but it also does a million other things. It also has a lot of other uses depending on what kind of sound you're going for. So both are great, both are really awesome. I think that they have their place and I will definitely be using them both quite a bit, but I will be probably prioritizing Valhalla Shimmer for really going for it for this atmospheric sounds, whereas hybrid reverb is really just a Swiss Army knife that can do almost anything you want in terms of reverbs, and you can get it sounding pretty close to Valhalla Shimmer. So if you don't own Shimmer and you can't afford it, you don't invest in it, you can get some pretty quality sounds out of it. But I think both are really great, and both are definitely worth using a lot in your productions, regardless of the kind of music you're making. So that's it. Hopefully that's informative, especially if you haven't been using a Shimmer reverb before. If you haven't tried this out, definitely use it, especially in like ambient, spacey kinds of music. If you did find that informative or helpful at all, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. I have a lot more videos like this coming out about both Live 11 and just in general music production stuff. You can also feel free to check out our website, catalyzeacademy.com, for info about classes and workshops and other things that we offer. Again, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.